Yo, what's poppin'? How's everyone doing? Welcome back. It's been a long time. I've been missing because the police been messing with me. I'm joking. DPS, leave me alone. Welcome back to the Good, the Bad, the Ugly podcast. First things first, let me just say this. Check out my TikTok. We have loads and loads of fun there. I talk about all kinds of stuff. It's TGTBTU poddy. Check out my YouTube. Subscribe to it because I'm going to always forget to say this at the end. And there we go. That's enough for me. Today we've got a very special person. And I'm going to get his name right, his last name right, because you just told me. It's Mr. Gwenton Sloley. Woo, 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 woo. What's going on? How you doing, Mr. Sloley?
Thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming.
Thank you for coming, man. What's good?
I'm good. Nothing before it's time. I just thought to myself, you know what? We have to have this sit down now because I'm seeing a lot of people around not being able to cope with the basics that me and you take for granted. So this conversation is well overdue, and I hope that a lot of people benefit from this conversation. And a lot of learning as well for the establishment thereafter.
Boy, I echo that big time. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you ran in the general elections, didn't you?
Yeah, so I just ran Magon as a part of the Workers' Party with George Galloway for the new seat. So it's a new constituency over in East Dulwich and Lewisham West. Somewhere that I was hoping that I would win and make a change, but hey ho, Ellie Ree's won and now she's in Minister of a portfolio. So good luck to her. But again, my name is down in the archives. I've never actually wanted to be a politician, but the Metropolitan Police Force left me no further option but to fight back. And that was my way of fighting back by joining politics. So when they first disrupted me as I was enjoying life in 2018 and thinking that my life couldn't get any better, I decided that I was going to run for an area called Whitefoot in Catford for a by-election. And that was just my way of saying to them that, you know what, you're not going to push me around. I'm not like all the other guys that you've messed with. And I decided to run the by-election there with an political organisation called People Before Profit. And the reason why I chose People Before Profit, they're the kind of organisation that will lie down in the road and block off the traffic and all of that. So it kind of suited my kind of stuff.
You're into blocking off the traffic, yeah?
Not me personally, but I would facilitate.
I'm going to see Gwenton out there on Wellesley Road just chilling, just like, no, on the tram line, innit? Just like, no, tram's not going today, I'm sorry. But no, you touched on the police. Like, tell me, what happened?
So in 2006, I started the country's first low-end witness protection program in Southwark. At the time, it was meant to move gang members and vulnerable people coming out of prison. And as you know, with all things, it grows organically. I started working at SED3, which is a department within the police. And we decided that we were going to scale it and have it run in Pan London. It's still running up to now, but the name has changed and it's called London Gang Exit Programme. So I was one of the founders of that. We started moving people on witness protection, so real witnesses to murder cases, also some terrorists and other people. And within moving people, we then had to change their names and other things like that. But then I was left at risk. So I was saying to them, how could I be moving someone and now they're John Smith, but I'm still Gwenton Sloley, you understand? So when we got to the job centre, they had new pseudonyms and my name was the same. So after a while, we then had to look at that and make sure that I was operating under a different name and other stuff like that.
So you just sound like you were a spy. You're doing different names, pseudonyms, all of that. Was that fun, scary, what?
You know what, I'm not going to lie, it was fun at times. When you're moving people out the country and moving people. I remember I had one young man, we sent him to America, and then because we couldn't get him the visa, America returned him. And from there, we took him to join the army up in Milton Keynes, and they rejected him. And the reason why I remember that case, because I always thought that the army was desperate to have people. And when we went all the way up to Milton Keynes, they said, no, he's got tattoos and asthma. No thanks.
Yeah, they won't let you in with asthma. I found that out myself.
Yeah, and I thought, wow, so what do we do with this young man after? They gave him a flat and some cash and some bed sheets, and I never saw him again. But I just remembered him because he was the first one that we sent out of the country to keep safe.
What can you say? What countries you've been to, or is that a bit?
Yeah, certain things I don't want them to come and attack me after.
Okay,
so,
forget that. Better question is: you were going to warmer countries in the UK, weren't you?
Yeah.
You see, that's what I need. That, man. I'm trying to run away from all this rain and this cloud and the police.
The only thing I will say about that is this: sometimes doing that job, because I no longer do that job anymore. Your life is not your own. So you could be at home with your missus today watching EastEnders or Love and Hip Hop or whatever you watch, and the next thing the phone goes and you have to leave, your missus thinks that you're having an affair because you can't get into where you're going. So
you couldn't explain to her what you were doing? Oh,
I'm just going up the road. Up the road might turn into 2 hours or 3 hours and
that must have been.
else. So it was very intrusive on your personal life. But again, do you then tell your partner and then have her worrying every time you leave the house? But she's gonna worry anyway when she don't know where you're going. But
Catch-22, they're gonna worry regardless.
Yeah, so you and again, you're being told not to tell people about missions that you're going on. So it was difficult.
Were the people you're helping really? Did they ever come back? Did you ever find people that you're like, oh, you've relocated them, and now they're like back in the ends or back wherever they were? And
I had 3 murders, so 3 of them came back and got killed. So out of, let's say, 40, 50 people that you've moved successfully, 3's been dead. Because they couldn't cope with living at the area.
Yeah.
They were missing the excitement too much. They were bored. You understand, the new team that we gave them to over there, the mentors, the support workers, they might not have been diverse enough to work with them. So what we found is that the people came back and ended up getting killed.
That's lame to hear that. It's just that when you compare the numbers, you've done a great job and what you're doing is commendable, but when you hear anyone dying, it's always sad. So yeah, but anyway, got to move on from that topic. What's been happening with you and the police?
So, as I said, some normal police, I call them normal police, some normal police raided my house in 2018, apparently looking for the previous tenant who moved out 5 years previous. They had arrested him some 5 miles away, let's make that clear, 5 miles away from my property. And then they decided not to do their land registry check and break into my house. But something I want to put in there, I reported the police 4 days before that.
What for?
For trying to pick my locks. So my neighbours caught them, and we could show the CAD number after for people to see. So I called the police 4 days before my birthday, 4th of October. And
so wait, can we just jump in? Were they in uniform?
No, they were in plain clothes.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So they were in plain clothes, bent down, trying to fiddle with my locks. I don't know if they were bringing me a surprise birthday cake, but there wasn't any there when I got home. So when I've called up saying what are you trying to do to my house, they then ran away. So we don't know if they got in there and were coming out and we caught them, or they were trying to go in there and we caught them. But nevertheless, I reported them and I got a CAD number for it. 4 days after that, I'm going about my business. I then get stopped at Oval. I haven't been stopped for years. The police hold me there for nearly an hour. This is some police officer that I trained years before. Oh, you right, Gwenton, how you doing? God. So I'm like, look, stop the friendly stuff. Just do your stuff. Let me go. In the end, they let me go on my way. But that whole hour I was there, my house was getting raided. So that leads me to believe, was it a coordinated thing to stop me from going home in Oval? By the time I got home, my whole house had been destroyed. My boiler's ripped off the wall, my air vents are ripped off, my old gas meter's ripped off, my clothes are on the floor, one of my Rolex watches are gone walkabouts, my cash is gone, some of my kids' stuff disappeared. it was like a burglary that wasn't a burglary because they left the TV and the PlayStation. So it was a bit like, what kind of upmarket burglars are these where they're taking Rolexes but not the TV and PlayStation? It was strange. So
Did they leave the paper to say what they've taken?
They did,
Okay.
but because of the level of destruction, I didn't see it. I didn't see it on the first day.
Mm.
Yeah.
So to me, that's just wild.
Yeah.
Because to be just be going through people's houses, destroying it, and not even attempting to put stuff back. I was always trained. And this isn't me defending the police or defending what they did.
Yeah.
When I was trained by a really good officer. And I remember I was doing like one of my first searches of a property. And what he said is, you return the place back to how you found it.
Yeah.
So we would be taking out clothes, blah, 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 blah. And he'll be like, no, what are you doing? So he looked at me and he's like, no, fold it back how you found it.
Yeah.
Put it back in the same drawer, or to the best of your capability.
Yes.
And then and take care when you're doing your searches.
Yeah.
So I would do searches and see how you're saying that the boiler ripped off the wall.
Yeah.
If there was a good way to take it off the wall, we'll take it off the wall nicely.
Yeah.
This, in some circumstances,
But then I'm going to stop you there.
Oh yeah.
They then raided me again 3 months after, claiming that they had new evidence. Up to today, we haven't seen this new evidence. When they raided me the second time, they were neat. When I went back, they looked like they even cleaned the place before they left. So clearly, there was a big margin between the first raid and the second raid because they were very professional on the second raid. But something you touched on there, the search warrant doesn't permit you to tamper with gas appliances.
What was the? Can you say?
So with the search warrant, you're allowed to search everywhere.
I know that part. I was going to explain that part.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, did you see the warrant that they had and what they were looking for?
They claim that they came there looking for drugs under the something drugs guidelines.
So for anyone that doesn't understand how warrants work, is you have to apply to a judge to get the warrant. So you would, like, as a police officer, you would go, you'd ring up the judge, or you normally speak to the clerk, or you fill out all the forms and they're long, and then you send them off. And then you speak to the clerk will grill you and just tear everything that you have to pieces. But then they sort of rubber stamp it for you and the judge looks at it and blah, 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 blah. But normally, police are they try to leave it open and not super specific. Yeah. But if they're looking for like drugs, then it's anywhere really where that amount of drugs could be hidden.
You know what? They didn't leave a warrant. Now you're saying that. On the second search, I got a warrant.
Yeah.
On the first search, they left that slip where they fill in the time they came and the time they left and the things they took. Up to this day, we have never seen the first search warrant.
But I don't understand because, so it's not clearly a Section 18 search is one where you would do it, you get the author, or 18.5, isn't it, where you can do it yourself. So there's one where you can do it after someone's sort of been arrested and you go straight into the premises without an actual official piece of paper, but the inspector says, yeah, you can do it. And there's one where you have to, the person's arrested, in custody, and then you would go. And the inspector would say yes, and then there's actually just getting a warrant.
Well, they claim that they already had one to search the property, but then the officer that was leading the search said his body cam cut off within 10 minutes of being in the property because it was a spontaneous search. Leaves me to wonder, if you had a search warrant and you knew you were going to raid my property, how could you go to my property with a dead body cam?
Yes.
And with out of the 4 officers that went into my house, only one of them had his body cam on, and he's the one that was caught with his head in the boiler.
Are any of them up for misconduct?
No, not yet, because the police think that we're just going to let it slide. So this is where we are now with the IOPC. We're trying to teach them gas safety. I think the police and the IOPC, this is their first time learning about gas safe, because they're trying to tell me that the warrant permits them to rip my boiler off the wall. This is a Valent Ecomax 18 with screws, the old ones, where is connected by screws. Not the new ones where you could lift them up, pull them off, put them back on. This is the old one where you have to undo the screws. So they've ripped the screws off, then put his head in the boiler. The boiler was still on.
Yeah.
So not only am I concerned about his safety, he didn't care about his own safety. He could have burnt his face off putting it in my boiler. But then he claimed that he only removed it 1 inch. But the commissioner has sent me an email saying no Met police officer should be tampering or adjusting any gas appliances. So even the justification of 1 inch is illegal.
It's 1 inch too much, baby.
Okay, so that is that. So we're dealing with the gas boiler. So when I went home and I saw the boiler hanging off, I ran back out the door because, as we all know, if you switch your light switch on, it's like a booby trap. You're gonna blow the place up. That's like a Grenfell waiting to happen. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to get the Met to understand, gas safe rules. And the commissioner understands, but the people under the commissioner...
Which commissioner was this at the time?
It was Cressida Dick.
Oh, Cressida.
But I've now had confirmation from Sir Mark Rowley's team that they also go with the same premise that no Met officers are gas safe trained, so they shouldn't be tampering or adjusting gas safe meters.
Well, I'm not gas safe trained. I don't know. Maybe you gas safe trained? No? No, yeah.
I'm not gas safe.
There's some specialist officers, must be. I don't know about.
No, they're not gas safe trained. We've asked them and they've now said that they only tampered a little bit with it, or they've just tried to kill me a little tiny bit and my property. So that's where we are with that. Not only that, they found some cash in my house and used my cash to convict the previous tenant.
Wait, what?
Yes.
How?
So they claim that they believe that he was living there. So they're going to convict him with my cash. They didn't contact me or my legal team to let us know they were seizing the cash so we could make application to object. They went ahead and seized the cash on the behalf of his case. Then tried to convict me with the same cash a year after. So they recycled the money and pretending the money was still in circulation, took me to court on the fake charges. The judge immediately kicked it out, dismissed the case immediately, and told the officers off. So not only are they recycling money to take me to court, they're playing with my boiler. And then if you thought that wasn't bad enough, they use common law disclosure, CLPD, common law police disclosure. And for those of you out there that don't know what that is if the police alleges that you've committed a crime, they could contact all of your employers or anyone you've got a contract with and stop you from working or trading. So they run around the entire country, all the way up to Wales, to cancel my contracts with my independent organisation, Crying Sons, that had nothing to do with the raid. So
that's wow. Do you know what unit? Do I want to ask this? Yes, I'm going to ask anyway. What unit was it?
It was a trilogy unit within Lewisham.
I never heard of them. I don't think I want to know them. Trilogy unit, don't come from me, man. Leave me alone.
So I was deemed as the most dangerous person in the country because, as I said, I've worked with terrorists, I've worked with sex offenders, and none of them have been stopped from continuing their work. There wasn't even a case against me until the 22nd of January 2019. But throughout...
Wait, what is that case?
That was it. They done me for money laundering and perverting the cause of justice.
And what was the outcome?
Oh, the case didn't even start. The judge dismissed the case and told them off.
I love how you don't read about this stuff.
It was in all the newspapers.
Where was I?
Yeah.
Where was I? Where was I in 2019? I was probably getting gross misconduct for something, for saying something or seeing something. Yeah, that is absolutely diabolical. I'm sorry that's happened to you.
But you know, one of the things that I took from that was you don't know how strong you are till it's time to be strong.
Yes. I said that. I was having that conversation with my partner, and that's one of the things that I've come to the conclusion after everything I've been through. you realise, actually, I'm actually quite strong. I can endure.
Yeah.
And that's one of the ways that I always say the Metropolitan Police attacks their officers, especially, is that I tell everyone it's a war of attrition. You just need to outlast them. And not in the sense of outlast the organisation as a whole, because you never will, because it's an organisation. Outlast the people that are doing it to you. And you can do that. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no, good on you for staying strong. Because, I don't know, that for most people, they would have just broken down and done a madness.
No, it hasn't been easy. I'll be honest with you. I think one of the most scariest things is when I remember the police came to raid me the second time. So I'm driving in my car and I'm on the dual carriageway and I could see a car in and out with me. So I'm playing the game. So I've gone in the third lane and I've put my car into sports mode.
That BMW, yeah?
Yeah, so once it goes into sports mode there's not really any need to go into super sports mode. So I'm driving in sports mode. This car's still following me, so I said, all right then, let's put it into super sports mode and see if this other car still follows. So we're coming towards the Blackwall Tunnel, clicked it into super sports mode, woo, through the traffic, and the car's still there. So I said, whoa. Either somebody wants to kidnap me or this is the police again. So I ignored it, slowed down, followed the rules so I don't get done for speeding. I got home, sat down, took 2 bites of my KFC and my door knocked. And when I looked through the window, I saw them put the hats up, the checkered hats. So my heart went, I thought, oh God, this armed police. Do I get naked now? Because I don't want to get shot. And I thought, I don't wonder, why should I have to strip to my boxers in my own house just not to get murdered? And I said, you know what, let me get rid of my phones first, because I know that I've got sensitive stuff in my phone. So I made my phones disappear, some Houdini stuff. And then I opened the door. They came in, the woman's got her hand on her taser. So they didn't have firearm. They came in
it's taser
with tasers. So I was more relaxed with the taser. So I said to them, why are you here? And I looked at another one, I said, I know you. He's like, Gwenton, I'm sorry, man, but I have to do this. So I said, do what? Why are you've already harassed me in October. What have you come back for? We've got new evidence that you're drug dealing or concerned. No, we've got new evidence that you're concerned to do with drug dealing, whatever the hell that meant at that time.
Concerning the supply.
So they put me in the car, and all the way in the car I thought, how do I escape? Because they're going to kill me on the way to the police station. Because I know I'm nothing to do with drug dealing, so all I can think of, this is murder. So they're driving to Plumstead, and there's a back way to get to Plumstead police station where you're not on any main roads. Listen to me. Those 10 minutes off that main road, my heart was beating and I thought, I'm going to die in this car, but we're going to fight this out to the death because I'm not just going to let you murder me in the car. And they kept talking to me, and as they're talking to me, I'm thinking, stop trying to distract me. I know you're trying to kill me. Every road we turned on, I was just waiting for the brakes to go on, and I'm thinking I'm going to smash the window and try and fight my way out. And then we got to this funny little back gate for whoever's been arrested and gone to Plumstead police station. We've turned into the back gate. I'm like, oh God, they didn't kill me. Gone in the police station, and the most weirdest things ever happened in my life. And I've been arrested for all sorts of stuff, apart from rape and murder. And when we went in the police station, the sergeant said to him, I'm not doing this. I've already told one of your colleagues off today about the same thing. I'm not doing this. So I thought, this is embarrassing. So I've turned my back to them because I just didn't want to watch what was going on. I said, this is so embarrassing. And the sergeant said to him, go and stand against the wall with your friend and come up with a good idea why you've got this man here, and then come back. So they've gone over to the wall and they're whispering and whatever else. Then they've gone back to the sergeant, whispered in his ears, and he's like, whatever, just tell me whatever you want me to charge him for and I'll do it, but I'm just don't want to be a part of this. So in the end, sergeant charged me, booked me in. Then another weird thing happened. The investigating officer that interviewed me in October then comes out of a room saying to me, Gwenton, I'm sorry, this is nothing to do with me. This is the people above me that's done this. I already told you already.
Heard that before.
Yeah, if I ever needed to speak to you, I'll go and contact your legal team. So not only is the sergeant at the custody desk apologising, now I've got the actual person investigating my stuff apologising as well. So he's like, I want to get you out of here as soon as possible. Let's just do a drugs test. And
a drugs test?
Yeah, so they test me to drugs.
But even if you have drugs in your system, it doesn't matter because it's not an offence to have taken drugs.
Well, they took me down, checked me for drugs, came back negative because I don't smoke, I don't drink. And then just before midnight, they let me out. And I was on bail. But up to now, no new evidence have come up.
What were you on bail for? No.
So
wait, when was this?
This was 2018.
So you were released?
No, 2019, the 22nd of January 2019, they arrested me.
So they bailed you, and then did they ever tell you that you're no longer on bail?
No, I was on bail. They rebailed me for nearly a year, 8 times, illegally.
They can't rebail you. Like,
yeah,
well, obviously it's illegal.
I've got all the sheets.
Then I'm not disputing whether you got the sheets.
No, 8 times.
But yeah, I'm saying that's...
They rebailed me 8 times because they couldn't charge me. So imagine this. But let me just show you a female so you understand what has happened. Before I was arrested, 3 days before that, a superintendent sent an internal email trail leaking my personal information to a parent. The parents then sent it to me.
No.
So that's the 19th they've done that. So after the 19th, he's got his friends to raid me on the 22nd to keep me quiet. Yeah? And every time something has happened to me, this superintendent has always featured in the background. Always. The superintendent.
Yeah. Do you want to say their name?
Andrew Furphy.
Say that one more time. I missed that.
Superintendent Andrew Furphy.
Oh, was that based in what area that you
He
were at?
was based in Lewisham.
Boy. So what's happened since with that? Nothing? Or they haven't...
So we've gone to the IOPC.
And so that's what you're currently with the IOPC?
Yeah, it got upheld. All points got upheld. They then pretended to do a reinvestigation. And surprise, surprise, they made the time run out and claimed that the body cameras have disappeared.
Oh, boy.
When I was told that it will be retained, how could the body cameras, when the case with the IOPC, disappear?
So, body
they said
cameras,
it expired.
You're supposed to save it. You can save it for a long period of time. I'm not going to say the procedure because they're trying to give you misconduct, but...
No, they told me in writing, I've got it, from the Department of Professional Standards. They told me, I know, for what it's worth. So for what it's worth, I know it's laughable, but for what it's worth, investigator from DPS sent me an email, good thing I've got it in writing, that the footage will be retained because I also was offered compensation for the level of damage.
Can you say how much?
Caused. They tried to pay for my bed. So they destroyed other stuff, but they decided they would only pay for my bed. And when I sent them the price for the bed brand new with an orthopedic mattress, they thought it was too much because we were meant to be sleeping on thin mattress from around the corner. So I refused to accept the mattress from around the corner because I had an orthopedic mattress. And why should I pick a cheaper bed because the Met wants to come in my house and destroy things?
But it's mad. It's crazy that they'll cheap out on just your bed because considering they're paying up to like $5 million a year to suspended officers, what's £200-300?
But let me let you in on something else. The procedure when you do a raid is to do a walk around. They didn't do a walk around because they didn't want to show the state of my property how they left it. They also did not complete the 101 handbook to show what was seized.
That is a legal document that you lawfully have to do.
The officer said it was incomplete.
No, you have to do it. If you don't do it,
remember, my watch has disappeared.
What watch was it?
It was a gold Rolex. It wasn't from Rolex, but it was good enough. It was from Trotters. Trotters is good enough. But the point is, my watch went walkabouts. Meanwhile, the body cam died. And in their statement, they said, in the footage that we saw from the 1 out of 4 officers that was recording, we could see in the beginning there was unbroken stuff, but towards the end, we could see stuff was broken. So we don't know when it was broken, who broke it or what. But they offered me compensation. So now that the body cam has not been retained and it's expired or disappeared, that not only affects my complaint against the police, it also affects my compensation. So how could a high-profile case where the body cam just disappeared? This is more abuse.
Well, yeah, I'd agree with you on that. Definitely. The what I find amazing is that the way I often talk about internal and how the police officers are treated by the police. And the stuff you're describing, police officers get fired and they get gross misconduct for if your camera's not on, if your camera goes missing. But yet, in these circumstances, it just seems as though no one gets himself into trouble when it suits the police.
And that was my problem. Even the IOPC wrote a little line saying, I'm going to raise it with the DPS that all body cameras should remain on, mandatory. And also, I'm going to raise it with them that the footage should be retained. No, it should be upheld. They've breached. And this is where we're coming to, where even the IOPC themselves pick and choose.
Yeah, but people have been saying that for a minute, though.
No, but it's wrong, though, because they're meant to be there to oversee conduct. And if the conduct is wrong and illegal, like playing with people's boilers and making false charges, how can you take me to court? So now, on my P&C on the police record, my last time having an encounter with police, one of those charges are fictitious. So you brought me to court for money that's already been confiscated. Why should I live the rest of my life with that fake charge against me?
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's unfair, and these are things I say, like, as a man, not to say women don't go through these things. It's hard to not become vulnerable at times when you're being attacked by the deep state.
Yeah.
And people hear these things and think, oh, it's exaggeration. The rules that they're using against me or guidance is meant to be for sex offenders. They also called a MAPA meeting against me, which is meant to be for sex offenders and violent people. Which part of me going to court for being concerned with drug dealing? You know what concern means? I knew someone was drug dealing. So I'm meant to go to prison for knowing that somebody else is drug dealing?
No. The answer is no. You shouldn't go to prison for that. But it's crazy how that system works, and it's proven that it works in that way in terms internally in the police, and how people are very rarely reprimanded. And I think that's the frustrations for the public and also internally, because you're saying stuff that I'm just like, how is that allowed?
And for me, one of the reasons why I decided to sit down with you and not the mainstream media is this. Because I know you always balance and fair.
I try to be, but thank you.
And if I went to the mainstream media, it will make it look as if all police officers are bad. And that's not what I'm here to portray. And not all the Met are made up of bad people. We've got a few lawless individuals that make up small pockets within the Met that are at a certain rank where they believe they could do whatever they want. And rogue behaviour, I've seen it myself, but when it wasn't happening to me, I thought it was cool. You know, like you walk in and someone gets arrested and they have a word with the skipper and the skipper says, all right, give him back his money. You're like, that's so cool. These sort of things, when it's not happening to you, it's cool, but when it's coming to you, you're like, no, that's wrong, that's against the law. And these are the things that I've seen you speaking to other officers within the force, which I've spoken to some of them as well, and they've cried to me as well. And it's hurtful when a man that you respect is literally in tears because he loves his job so much and the job's not loving him back as much. That for me is some of the most painful conversations that I've ever had with grown men. And we're not talking broken men. These are men that are proper men.
Yeah.
But when you see them being vulnerable, it's not a nice feeling. And I said this to Mark Rowley when I met him in Brixton the other day. I said, Mark, listen, this is wrong. This is affecting people's lives here. And the guy was a cool guy, down to earth, everything. And then it leaves you confused because you're like, wait a minute. If you're meant to be the head of the Met, you're cool, you understand me, I get you. How come all these bad things are happening then? And I think that was my whole thing. When you're meeting with the commissioner and the commissioner's cool, me and Barbara Gray, we were cool. You understand, Martin, you were cool with those people. And you're like, so why is it then the commissioners and the assistant commissioners are okay people, but everybody else under them are just dangerous?
Because they don't get to choose who works beneath them. Pause. They don't get to choose. The Metropolitan Police as an organisation is fundamentally flawed in the sense that the boss or the boss of a certain area or whatever doesn't get to choose who's beneath them.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. West. They don't get to choose. So Mark Rowley, my voice. Oh my gosh. So yeah, Mark Rowley won't get to choose. So he may be able to choose who's directly beneath him, but beneath that, he doesn't get to choose all those people. He may be able to have some influence in some way, but generally the police don't operate like that. So people apply for positions, get there, they may be horrible human beings with the only mental state is to harm others and just be racist or misogynistic, and they will hold that position and the police cannot get rid of them. In the sense of, oh, I don't really want you to work for me. Yeah. You don't align with my ideals, so maybe you should go somewhere else. They're like, no. That's how it works. So once they're there, they're there. And it's really difficult to get rid of them or move them on unless they want to. So Mark Rowley, I'm not defending Mark Rowley, and I won't, because I've met up with him. FYI, he said he's coming on my podcast. And I asked him what he was going to do to protect black officers, because they're disproportionately investigated, yada, yada, yada. I've been going on about it for ages. And his response to me wasn't good enough. It was just, we need to get rid of like the bad apples. And I was like, that didn't answer my question, bro. How are you protecting these ones? So as far as I'm concerned with him, until he shows me he's prepared to protect us, then I don't really have much time for him. I still sit down and talk to him, but him being a nice person, I'm like, how do you justify being a nice person knowing people are being hurt?
All right, let me ask you something then. They've got the BPA, yeah?
Yeah.
The Black Police Association. I've been around them for years, yeah? And you might disagree with me, but I think they're useless. And I'm going to tell you why I think they're useless. Are you not meant to help people suffering in the community, or is it just for police officers?
It's for everyone, I say.
Okay, so when you see someone wrongfully being targeted in the community, their presence is not felt. Like as being a group and supporting each other, they're amazing at that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to coming outside and seeing, and I'm saying that from personal experience, seeing suffering happening outside, they'll turn up to the events, but they don't speak up for the people being harmed outside. And the amount of black officers that's come to me, male and female, feeling at the last end of their rope. But they're a part of the organisation. And I'm like, wait a minute, you shouldn't be coming to me then. And that's something that I'm looking at. I don't know if it's the leadership. I know leadership changed now. So I hope that the culture's changed in there.
So you're talking pre the current chair, Charles?
Pre the current
okay,
change,
cool.
yes.
Yeah.
So I hope that with the new leaders in there, that things have changed, because I've seen for years where people have struggled to get the help they need from the organisation itself. And also being, you see, before, I'll give you an example. Before you had Leroy, you had Bevan, you had Michael, what's his name now? David Michaels. Those characters would come outside and stand next to you outside. They weren't afraid.
Yeah, I agree.
So it was like they all became like rock stars. Like when you saw them arrive, you were like, they're the Black Police Association. They were known, like every single one of them in their own right had like a buzz about them. You felt
they had presence. Yeah.
They had presence, and it's like since that era, you struggle to find another group that are not afraid of coming out and saying, no, that's wrong. And if you attack one of us, we're all going to stand there and make sure that he's given or she's given due process.
You said I wouldn't agree with you, but I do.
Yeah.
I agree. Like 100%. And that's not a knock on... Like, so who was the previous chair? So there's Charles now, that's the change, but he's only been Charles Ekiora. Charles Ekiora is currently under investigation for gross misconduct for allegedly having conversations on WhatsApp. And
what does Charles look like? He's got like
Charles,
curly hair.
No, black. He's Nigerian.
No, I don't know.
Have you seen my pictures? I posted a picture of him
I know
recently.
the guy before him.
What, Chris XL?
Yeah.
No comment. And then there was Oh my god. Oh, okay.
Back in the room. You're always in trouble.
Do you know what it is? It's odd for me to say no comment. You know, normally I get in trouble and just cuss man out, but I'm not. I've reformed. I don't cuss the TSG anymore, and I'm not gonna cuss Chris XL. There you go. There was Janet Hill. Janet Hills was all right. Me and Janet are cool.
Janet's cool. Man.
Yeah, to what you were saying, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Charles is a massive change, I say. Not everyone necessarily likes him. I've spoken to officers that don't necessarily like him, but that's okay. Not everyone's going to like you. As a leader, you're not supposed to be liked. Yeah. More so respected than liked, but whatever. What I'd say now is that I've been saying to all the black officers, it's time for a change, and we need what you were just describing. Yeah. And I've been approached, and I know officers that have been approached to join and to be fully part of the BPA, and it needs to be that shift where officers do come out, but we need them to have personalities, because everyone knows me, innit? But I may not even be here. Like, time's ticking. They could turf me out next week. Because this is what they're doing. They're character assassinating people individually.
But
so people are scared.
The only problem with that is, for them to turf you out, the community will kick off.
Yeah,
don't try to play it down, because
no. You're right.
They need to know that you are loved in the community. So any sort of undercurrent bullying of you, there will be serious consequences to be played.
So for me, I know that's I believe that to be true, and I think that most people ride for me, because I can't even walk to the station without people saying, "Wagwan officer." All the people that will consider roadmen, they'll be like, "Yo, what's going on? You good? I just watched your TikTok live." So I know there will be people would back it for me, but other people need to be. We need to. I don't know how we encourage others to do the same as I'm doing and to feel the same strength. But I can see you looking at me, baby. Go on, talk. But talking to the mic, please. Into the mic. You're not talking into the mic.
In terms of what you were saying, in terms of it needs to have that
closer.
Gravitas. It needs to have that gravitas.
Yes.
And the superheroes, the people that you described. That sounds amazing. That was before. That was before. Black officers were individually and repeatedly attacked organisationally. So now I put it to you. You lot be the superheroes for a while, because the black officers are struggling, because they're being picked off one by one, and they need that strength. They need that voice. What you just said about the community, they need that the community goes, we back you. We're here for this. It's unacceptable. You are still part of our community, even when you're inside the organisation.
But this is right.
Because hold on. Let me land. There are. I'm going to use the word despicable. There are despicable social media handles that actively seek to destroy the black community with their silly posts on a daily basis. I don't even expose myself to that kind of thing, but for some reason in the comment section you'll just see you'll see idiot after idiot after idiot commenting, saying really unhelpful things. But when we've got amazing people like you in the community who are standing behind black officers who are being targeted. But if we all unite, which is exactly what the BPA said a couple of weeks ago at their 30-year anniversary, it would definitely make a difference. So I'm asking, lead that charge. Be that superhero. The opportunity is there.
I'm happy to be, and I'll publicly say here that any underhanded thing go with you, I will be organising a public meeting myself.
I appreciate that.
No, but because you know what it is, at the end of the day, I see the work that you try to do. And instead of you being used as an asset, you're seen as a troublemaker.
Yeah, bro.
You understand? And for me, any officer that is proud to say that they're an officer and supporting their colleagues from having mental breakdowns and committing suicide and other stuff, that is someone that is supporting the Met. Because if we had officers, let's say 3 black officers decided that they've had enough and they've reached the end of their rope today, that doesn't look good. Also, that 3 families destroyed. So when you've got someone as a go-to person, instead of them saying, you know what, how do we work with you? And not see you as a threat. And I think that's what, if you're watching this, Mark, I think ideas need to be looked at now. And far too long we've sat by and watched people being bullied within the Met. And it's not going to happen anymore. Seriously, it needs to stop.
We do need to stop it.
No, it has to stop, and it needs to stop immediately, because there's young people ready to riot and march for this, because not every day they find an officer where they're cool to say, "What go on, officer," without feeling embarrassed.
It's true. You know what's funny? My boy rang me. I used to be on the gangs when I moved. And I was up in Westminster. They're still looking for me. The guys are like, "Yo, where's the officer with the locks, man? Where is he? He was calm." And these are the same people that I may arrest, but they know when they deal with me, it's always calm. I'm arresting you. I'm gonna go talk to your mum. I'm gonna take you back home, sit down with your dad, and be like, "All right, cool. Look, what are we doing?" Kind of thing. And they respected that, and they respected that about the unit that I was on. But we need there needs massive change in the BPA. Like, back to that topic, I think the BPA is changing, but whether it's quick enough, I don't know. But I'm trying my best to help that change, because I believe that they're mandated, so they have to be there. And if they're removed, then everyone else is totally just effed. Do you get what I'm saying? Every single association will fall if the BPA fall, because they're the only ones really mandated to be sitting there in the room to represent everyone else. Yeah. And what I keep saying to people now is to understand the BPA doesn't just mean black. That's the name of it, but it represents everyone.
And why the community?
Yeah.
And I think one of the next things I think the Met struggles with is apologising.
Yo, I got in trouble for saying this. Yeah. I got misconduct for saying it. Was on one of my misconduct forms. I said the Met don't apologise, and they teach officers not to apologise. They said, "Where did you learn that?" Yeah. I said, "They told me." Even on my firearms course, they're like, "Yeah, Dom, you're sick, blah 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 blah." But you know, you're really polite and you apologise. You don't need to. I'm like, "Yes, I do." They're like, "Yeah, but you don't really need." Yes, I do. Do you know why? Because apologising can diffuse a situation that may escalate to a point where someone loses their life. And I've just stopped that happening by saying, "Do you know what? Sorry, mate," or "Sorry, sir," or "Sorry, ma'am," or whatever it is. Yeah. That's all it takes. Apology. That's all people normally want, you know.
One question I've wanted to ask you for a long time, and I'm going to ask you now. How do you feel, because people ask me that because of the job I used to do, how do you feel now being a normal civilian? Because even though you're still an officer, your personality is different to a typical firearms officer. And I'll say what I mean by that. Normally when you meet a firearms officer, they're either like a bit of a fireman type thing, but on steroids. You know, like firemen, they're always in good shape, ready to go, just come out the gym, but you're angry all the time. So how do you move away from that? Because if you're around people and everyone's always on serious mode, to come and being able to have a laugh and a joke, but then when it's time to go back to work, have switched that on. How does that?
I just know who I am, and I am me before I am a police officer. So I always carry myself to work all the time. So how do I describe this best? I put on a uniform, but that uniform doesn't change who I am. So when I go into work, I'm still Dom.
Yeah.
My jokes are gonna be the same. My humor, everything else. I might have to dial stuff down a little bit to be like more appropriate, but it's still me. And I think that a lot of people get lost once they become police officers. They're like, oh, I need to change inherently who I am. Whereas for me, I'm more sort of, listen, they picked me. They said I was fine with who I presented. So why do I need to change? So I just continue just being myself. And if I was always taught this from day, and it's my dad right now and my mum probably think it's to their detriment or to my detriment, in the sense that my mum was always and my dad were like, stand up for what's wrong. Don't let people bully you. Stand up for people where you can and speak out when something's wrong. And don't do anything, like if you know it's wrong or it's negative, don't do it.
Yeah.
And highlight it. And I've continued that in the police. Regardless, like, I don't care. Like, you see me, I don't care. I will say, if I think that Mark Rowley has made a mistake, I will say, Mark Rowley, that was a terrible idea. Sometimes I may not use those words. I may use more colourful language, but it is what it is. And that's what I think people, it's been sucked out of officers in the Metropolitan Police. It's like you're trained, no, we want you like this, or else you're going to get misconduct. But what I say to the officers, misconduct ain't nothing but a piece of paper. Do you get what I'm saying? They still have to find you guilty. They still have to go through that process. And at the end of the day, inherently, if you think what you're doing is correct and you're of good moral stead, then you're probably going to win anyway. It's just a war of attrition, like I was saying to you earlier. It's just going through all the stress, because that's how they actually punish you. It's not the outcome. It's what leads up to the outcome. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's what I've learned. Like, being suspended, I've learned I had to go through that process. I've had a lot of support, but I've learned, do you know what? This ain't nothing. Like, I'm getting paid to stay at home and be a dad and go out here and do my TikToks and do YouTube and be able to speak to the community and do that. Essentially, I'm still policing. It's weird because I'm still promoting the police. The more I, like, some people may see it as I'm cussing them out, I'm still highlighting the pros and the cons and the necessity of having black officers and Asian officers, Chinese officers. We need all of them. But yeah, what I wanted to go back on and talk about to you, because we touched on the BPA, but I wanted to really address, and I want everyone to really listen to this. I'm not even joking. Internally in the Metropolitan Police, there's it's like a civil war. You've got the civil war, you've got the internal fighting between the white officers and basically everyone else. Then you've got all of the police officers against the SLT. But inside that, you've also got the black officers fighting amongst themselves. It's like there's this power struggle, and I don't understand why there's a power struggle. Because what I say to everyone is this. Not everyone, how can I put this in the sense that everyone would understand? Not everyone can be Prime Minister. Not everyone can be the main person. Some people need to be the deputies and some people need to be just the standard workers, whether you're the dustbin man or the bus driver. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's like everyone wants to be the main character. And that is what is damaging us so much, because people are fighting for a position just so they can make decisions on behalf of everyone else. A leader just represents everyone else. That's it. You're not just pushing your own ideals. Do you get me? And what I say to everyone is, look, if we all join up and unite together, and we all say this is our morals, this is what we stand for, and this is our position, it doesn't matter who the leader is.
What about taking turns? If you say every year we change, or every 6 months somebody else has a deputy or something. I think it's bigger than the police. Even in the community, people can't get their act together because a lot of people got egos and everybody wants to be the driver of the car. Nobody wants to be a passenger. Or you have a bunch of drivers driving by themselves. Yeah. And it becomes a situation where everyone's driving their car by themselves with no passengers in their own little silos. So it's about how do you then come back together where we can just all respect each other. I think for me, one of the things that I'm glad for is that I didn't build up a hatred towards the police and even...
I'm shocked how you do. Like right now, how do you feel about them?
It's nothing personal.
I feel like it is. Someone don't like you.
Yeah, they might be trying to kill me, but you know what it is? This is what lawyers are there for.
Yeah.
And we have to lead by example. So I want other youngsters to see that keep your garden clean. When they came to check me, they went through my finances. They went through all of my devices. Imagine I was doing something dodgy.
Did you request for all the data that they've taken from you?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should.
No. But
I would.
But they provided enough for me to move forward.
No, I say that because you want to know what they've taken in case they may try and use it maliciously later. Yeah. So you might send that email to the OIC and be like, hey, you know when you took my computer like in 2019, what did you take off of it, please? Can you give me all the information?
Yeah, they claim that they saw on my devices only training material to do a drug dealer.
There's training material?
Yeah, so I deliver...
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I deliver training here and there around the country to other forces. But again...
Oh, you mean in terms of like you teaching...
Me teaching other forces.
So not necessarily teaching how to be a drug dealer. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, wait, what?
I had to identify someone that's been trafficked and everything else. But one of the things that I will say is this. I was so enraged in the beginning that it was consuming me. Every night I was waking up and I was so angry. And the worst thing is being angry and you can't do nothing about it. And I had to forgive the people that tried to attack me and look at it from their point of view. And once I saw it from their point of view, it made sense. And what happened is this: they saw me as a normal little man because I would laugh and joke with them. So when they came across certain material in my house, they thought it was something illegal, which bless their hearts, they thought they were onto a good case. But again, it's the level of destruction that you've caused to someone's life and someone's family, and refusing to put your hand up and say sorry at the last minute. We're going to end up in a case where you're going to have to say sorry, but it's not going to be willingly. And that's my problem with the whole thing is, why do we have to go through all of this tedious process for you to then accept that you've done wrong? And this could have been someone else where you hear them saying, the police are racist, the police are corrupted, because that's the standpoint that you always hear people take when they have some altercation with the police. I'm not there, because I know that there was police officers that will come out their bed tonight like yourself and go and rescue someone's life. So by giving a blanket thing to all people out there, you then throw the good people in with the bad. It's like having a fruit bowl and only 3 of them have gone off. You need to quickly remove the good ones before the gone off ones turn them gone off as well. And even for the commissioner and assistant commissioner, they need to do better. The mayor's office need to do better. Yeah. The DPF is not fit for purpose. Something I didn't touch on, I'll quickly touch on. You know, the DPF supported to prosecute me in court.
Of course they would.
They gave the statement that I gave them reporting the police trashing my house, and that was used as key evidence against me in court. So how could we trust the professional standards if they're going to support the CPS to send civilians to jail? But
the DPS are a sham. Like, look, if I'm going to hold a misconduct, it will definitely be for saying the DPS are a shambles. I will always take a misconduct for saying them, man. They should be investigated themselves. They are like, if you want to find some corruption, I'm telling you, the day they investigate the DPS, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that was happening?
Allegedly.
Because there's no one looking at them, man. So it's just insane. And I told everyone, if you want to be safe, just go join the DPS. You'll be safe. You'll be safe because ain't no one looking there.
They'll cover it up. For me, what I would want to end on saying is, times will seem like it's never going to get better. And you just have to stick in there. Please do not stick with the solicitors that they provide you at the police station. get yourself a proper legal team. Those duty solicitors are there to send you to jail. And you will struggle to get lawyers that will go up against the police. But just keep yourself clean, because you never know when you could be the next person being attacked.
100%. 100. Like, that's what I just tell everyone. Just try and stay on the right side of the law. And it's, even when you haven't done something, it's still going to be a struggle, but at least you know you haven't done something. So when it comes to the end, you will win, but the end could be a very, very long road, unfortunately. But it's better than actually doing the madness and getting sent down for it. But we're going to call it a day there. Gwenton, thank you so much for coming in and having this conversation. We'll have to get you back in soon. Where are we at? Yo, we got another show coming up. I'm shooting again tomorrow. Very special guest. I'm not going to bait up who it is before the Met come and get me. Guys, once again, thank you, Gwenton. Go follow my Instagram, The Good, The Bad, The Ugly Podcast. It's The Good with underscores, The Bad, The Ugly Podcast. TikTok, The TGTBTU Poddy. And follow me, man. And come check my lives, because we just have fun in there. And if for any of the officers that are struggling, just reach out to me. We can chat. That's what I always say. We can sit down and play zombies on Call of Duty, one of my faves. We can do whatever. We can go box park. We can go eat food. We can do whatever. Recently, I've been seeing a few officers. So just chat. Just come talk to me, because we all know how the welfare is. It's going in the Metropolitan Police, and it's shocking. But other than that, guys, hope you appreciate it today. Shout me if you want to get in touch or come on the show. Just DM me. Peace.